Hello and welcome to Shop Talk with Dan the Man. Today's video we're going to talk RYOBI. Here I have a circular saw. I'm going to take you through my hands-on review. Stay tuned to find out more.
Hello, if you're new to this channel, my name is Dan Shannon. I enjoy woodworking as a hobby and being out in the shop. On this channel, dive deep into my shop as we explore tools and tool reviews, as well as chatting about everything related to woodworking. If this grabs you by the tool belt, please subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this.
Hello and welcome to Shop Talk with Dan the Man. Today's video we're going to jump into this. This is RYOBI's circular saw model PCL500. This is RYOBI's 18 volt. We're going to go over the features of this tool, then we're going to jump into some hands-on, then I'm going to do some follow-up thoughts on what I think of this tool. So if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, thanks for coming back. So let's jump into the features of this. Okay, so I have here RYOBI's circular saw. You can usually buy this in their package kit, so it usually comes with a bunch of other tools, or you can buy it bare tool by itself. So depending on when you're going to purchase this tool, you have those two options. I should also mention most of the time it comes with a charger, a very basic charger. You just put your battery in and charge it up. And some of them are quick chargers, some of them are just basic. This one here is your basic charger. It comes with usually all your tools that you can purchase. So before we jump into what batteries you can buy, let's jump into the features of this tool. So you notice right off the bat, this is a circular saw. And of course, depending on the type of saw and the size of the saw, you have different sizes of blades. This is a 10 mil blade. I'd recommend upgrading your blade on your saw. Now, of course, it varies depending on how often you use your tool. I would recommend maybe just sticking with the one that came with your saw if you don't cut that often, but if you cut a fair bit, you're going to want to upgrade your blade. So right here you have your guard protection that just kind of protects your hands from the blade. You have your bottom plate, which also has your bevel gauge, so depending on what cut you're making, as you can see there, it's nice and flat, you're 90, and then of course you just untwist this this knob on the front and that'll change your angle. So you can do your 45, your different degrees, and there of course there's markings on the front to let you know what degree you're at and what you're cutting. And then you just tighten that back up again. You notice also in the front there's a ruler, gives you the different measurements from the board, and it looks as though there is a spot to slide in a track for an edge guide. You just slide it through here, and of course when you're running your saw along the edge, it would give you a straight line for that. So it looks like that could be an accessory you could add for the front of the tool. As we slide towards the top, you'll notice there's a nice extra hand grip. So a lot of times when you're cutting, say, a sheet of plywood, you want the extra horn on the front so you can stabilize your tool and run it up the board. So that's a nice feature to have that extra grip. To turn it on and off, you got a safety. You just slide that to the one side and then pull the trigger. So if you're right-handed, you slide to the left and vice versa, just to power up the tool. And you got your trigger, which isn't speed sensitive. As soon as you turn it on, it fully revs up, and that's your speed. So there's no adjustment on that. We'll go to the back side, and you'll notice there's another adjustment knob. So when you loosen that, that'll change your depth from your bottom plate. So depending on what you're cutting, whether it's a 2x4 sheet of plywood, you would just move your guide up, and then you change the positioning of the saw to impact your depth of your wood. So you don't want your teeth, just like a table saw, you only want your teeth sticking just the carbide or slightly more as you're ripping your board. You don't want the whole blade. So if I was cutting a piece of plywood, clearly it's 3/4 inch, that's too much blade sticking out, so I would adjust that accordingly. And you can go right to the side of the board and then raise or lower that, get your actual depth. And then once you have that set, you just lock your back adjustment again, and that locks it. So let's spin it around back. Around back, you just have your battery port. That's pretty straightforward. You just slide it in, snaps in, and you're good to go for your battery. And then of course your motor department. It's just a nice little cap they put on it. Other than that, if you want to take your blade on and off, a lot of times, like I mentioned earlier, if you want to replace the blade on this, they do have an Allen key built into the back. So you just slide that out, and then you have your bolt in the front here. And then you'll notice just behind the blade, there's a gray button. So when you hold that in, it keeps the blade from spinning. So you just press it in, you turn your blade until it stops fully, and that means it's locked in, so it's not going anywhere. And then you just take your Allen key and spin off your bolt. Slide your new blade on, repeat the process in reverse. So I like the fact that they always include the tool on the tool itself. That way you're not going through your shop looking for that Allen key to pull your blade off. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the features on this tool. It's pretty straightforward. You know, it's for a circular saw. I know Rigid, when it comes to circular saws, they have different types. RYOBI, I'm just doing a review on this one, but I'm sure their lineup, they have up to 300 accessories / tools. So they probably do have other circular saws depending on what you're cutting for that. So let's dive into the hands-on, but first I'll show you the battery. So another big thing with RYOBI tools is they have this +1. So what that means is all their tools and their batteries, they all work together. So it says, or 1+ rather, not +1. Had that backwards, but this is a 4 amp hour. You can get 6, 12. You know, they have bigger batteries for like mowers, pressure washers. You know, the list is, like I said, up to 300 products, so it's pretty extensive. But when it comes to their batteries, this is the 4 amp hour. You can get 2, 6, 9, and so on and so forth. But in this particular case, we're going to use the lithium 4 amp hour. And you got your gauge on the front to show you how much power you have left, which is really nice. It gives you that reader, and then you're able to find out whether or not you have enough power for your tool. Another thing to note is their older tools, they had a dark blue original. I do have some kicking around somewhere. They're the original RYOBI tools before they have the screen color, yellowish green. And even those will take these batteries. So it's kind of neat that RYOBI, all throughout their generation of tools, they're still keeping the battery the same type, so you can use your old tools and upgrade your batteries along the way. So I really like that. And yeah, so let's dive into some hands-on with this circular saw. So hands-on. Okay, so here we are with the hands-on of this tool. So I'm just going to install the battery. So I have the battery installed. I'm going to check out my product that I'm going to be cutting. So in this case, it's just a piece of spruce flooring. A lot of times I like to use a square. So when I'm cutting, I have a nice edge or guide that I can use. So if you don't care about that, or you're doing rough cuts just to cut a board up, that's fine. You can just zing it off. But with the straight edge, it does two things. It gives you a nice true line. It also keeps your blade from twisting, because sometimes if you're cutting and it's not perfectly straight, or you don't have a nice guide to go with, your blade can actually twist in the wood and kind of snag up a little bit. So, like I said before, we got to set our depth for our blade. So you look here, the teeth is quite a bit below the blade itself. So we're just going to use the back adjustment knob, change the bottom plate, give our depth that we want, lock it back in again, bring over our board, use our angle, and yeah, we can start cutting. So push in the safety. Just that easy. I'll do another cut on this just to give you an idea of how easily it cuts. All right, that cut just fine. Now I'm going to upgrade it to a little bit thicker of a board. So this is a true 2x4, quite a bit thicker. So if I was going to use my saw again, you notice the teeth aren't quite where they need to be. So I'm going to do my adjustment, bring it down some more, and then that'll give me my depth that I need to cut through this. Get into bigger stuff, of course you'd want a bigger blade on this saw. But let's put this through this 2x4. So once again, I'll use my guide. As you could tell, it bogged out a little bit, but for a smaller saw, I think, my personal opinion, it cut that just fine. Now, once again, this is the blade that came with it. If you had a better blade, say, you know, Diablo, you know, DeWalt, that might give you a better performance than the factory blade. But yeah, let's run another pass through. Just trying to give you a little example of how easy this cuts. Cut the flooring, no problem. And then when you jumped up to a thicker gauge 2x4, it's still cut quite well. So yeah, I would say for performance-wise, cut that just fine. All right, so let's dive into some final thoughts on this saw. So my final thoughts on this circular saw is basically the RYOBI product in general as a brand has over 300 accessories and different batteries you can get, and the list goes on. Whippersnippers, lawnmowers, you know, I'd be here all day listing off their product line. And as a tool, does it cut? Yes. Will it last the rest of your life? I'm not sure. It really depends on what you do with it, just like any tool. If you're a high user, over time, of course, tools, doesn't matter what they're made out of, they will break down and have issues. If you're working from your home and you do the casual reno, or you're out in your shop, and of course your budget factors in, I would say for the average consumer, this would be a perfect tool. Gives you a circular saw. You have the +1 batteries, so you can just you know, grab your battery and your tool. And also there's sales on, so you can get a combo. So circular saw, drills, you know, a bunch of things that all kind of sync up for the same platform. and usually it's for your dollar, it's a great deal. So I myself had RYOBI tools one time. This is a friend's. I borrowed it just to kind of give the overall impressions of it. And I must say, it's better than I thought as far as the usage and the power that it has. It's quite a nice tool, and I think for the average homeowner that's doing a DIY project or has a small shop, this would be a great addition to that. So stay tuned for some more RYOBI reviews. I do have a few more tools that I will be using and testing out to see whether they're good quality or whether they can cut well or perform the way they should. And as always, thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not part of the Shop Talk family yet, please click on that link below, become a subscriber, and you can watch more tool reviews like this and anything I do in my shop. So, like I said before, it doesn't matter how big or how small your shop is, just get out and have fun. Use the tools you have, or maybe pick up, like this RYOBI package and, enjoy your time out in your shop that much more with some new tools. Thanks and have a great day.